Please welcome members of the MIT Police Honor Guard. Please welcome the inaugural procession. Please welcome President Sally Kornbluth, accompanied by Diane Green, Chair of the MIT Corporation.
President Emerita Hockfield, President Emeritus Reif, President Kornbluth, distinguished guests, good afternoon and welcome to the historic inauguration of Sally Kornbluth as the 18th President of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Great. Okay. We're honored to have esteemed elected officials, distinguished representatives of the City of Cambridge, and respected members of the neighboring communities joining us for this auspicious occasion. We extend a warm welcome to the revered guests from the Academy, distinguished members of learned societies, and delegates from national and international organizations. We also gratefully acknowledge the presence of MIT's trustees, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and our valued friends, both here in Killian Court and joining us via live stream from all corners of the world. The 162-year-old Massachusetts Institute of Technology is one of the most important organizations in the world. MIT educates, trains, and sends into the world some 4,000 plus undergrads, grads, and postdocs every year. And MIT's research has a continual and global impact. Today's inauguration celebrates and solemnizes the beginning of a new era. It provides a symbolic transition from one leader to another and demonstrates the continuity of governance. Let us now begin the inauguration ceremony for Sally Kornbluth as MIT's president and leader. Please rise for the invocation by Chaplain to the Institute, the Reverend Thea Keith Lucas, and remain standing for the Star-Spangled Banner, which will be sung by Jody Marie Fernandez, MIT class of 2009.
Good afternoon. It is my honor to invoke the spirit of this great occasion, to welcome our new president, and to celebrate the curiosity that brightens our community. I wanted to tell you that curiosity is a powerful and constant force, not at all like a firefly, coming and going, flitting in and out of our view with little pulses of light. And then I wondered, how does a firefly turn its beam on and off so quickly? So I learned that the firefly produces a quick pulse of nitric oxide, which binds to the mitochondria in the light organ, releasing oxygen to start the bioluminescent reaction. The enzyme involved is called luciferase, from the Latin for bearer of light. Isn't that interesting? Down south, the woods are thick with lightning bugs. You have to look harder for them here in the lands of the Massachusetts and the Wampanoag, but those who search will still find their twinkling light. And do you know why they blink like that? The young ones are flashing a warning that they taste awful. The brightness is a bit of bravery, a way of announcing, I am here and I will find my own way in this world. I will not be a snack for some lizard or bat. Just like you glow with your own sense of purpose, and refuse to be swallowed by the old, unquestioned stories. And the grown ones prove their strength to their mates by the intensity and rate of their light, much as we are drawn toward people who ask bold questions, who don't assume they know anything about us, who are discovering us at this moment. There is a Hebrew blessing. For the first time, we lay eyes on a great wonder. Baruch atah Hashem Eloheinu melech haolam oseh maaseh bereshit. You stand before me today, and I want to bless the sight of you. Each and every one. What an amazing surprise you are. Do you mind if I ask you all, did they have fireflies where you grew up? Did you stand outside on a warm summer evening and watch the woods turn magical with tiny flashes, yellow edging into green? What questions burst so brightly into your mind that you wanted to upend your life and follow them here? Could we light up the world together?
Please be seated. And thank you, Ms. Fernandez and Reverend Keith Lucas, for offering an inspiring opening to this momentous ceremony. It is now my honor to introduce President Kornbluth's very good friend and distinguished president of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, Dr. Valerie Shears Ashby. President Ashby will offer greetings on behalf of the academic community.
Thank you so very much, Madam Chair, for that introduction. I bring greetings and gratitude to you and to the members of the MIT Corporation, MIT faculty, staff, students, alumni, and community members, to distinguished guests, and to my dear friend, Sally. What a joyous occasion. I am honored to be here today to share with you a little about your president, Sally Kornbluth. I believe she embodies exactly what higher education needs in leadership at this critical moment in the nation and in the world. Clarity, vision, courage, and humility. I first met Sally in 2015 during my interview for the role as Dean of Trinity College of Arts and Sciences at Duke University. It was clear from that very first meeting that this was a person for whom I could work, from whom I could learn, and with whom there would be a joyful partnership. I have no doubt that you all felt the same when you first met Sally, and you knew very early on what a terrific fit she would be to lead MIT now. These roles, as you might imagine, are all about fit and timing, about finding the place where who you are and who they are will work together in such a way that each is transformed for the better. It is about finding the people who will champion with you the fundamental principles on which we advance knowledge, educate students, and create solutions for the benefit of society. It is about finding shared values that create a solid foundation for vigorous, productive debate and essential transformation and progress. When I reflect on your motto, mens et manus, mind and hand, I know that you have found the right person and that she has found the place, the people, and the values that make this a perfect fit. In Sally, you have a leader. She knows excellence in science and engineering and how to foster and sustain the environment that makes it possible for the best scientists and engineers to focus their energies on the most vexing problems. And she also understands that in order to take brilliant, unparalleled concepts and ideas to relevant and effective solutions, diversity is not just desired, it is required. She moved Duke University forward in faculty diversity, not just with increased numbers, but with true culture change, building excellence through diversity. Then she took the all-important step of providing resources that clearly underlined her values. She knew that without brilliant faculty from diverse backgrounds across all disciplines, generating knowledge together, that perceived solutions may not advance or serve the very communities or the people for whom they were intended. Her clarity was critical to that culture change. You also have a leader who understands that mind and hand requires full liberal arts and sciences approach. There are my humanists right there. As a cancer biologist and a liberal arts college background, she is clear that solutions needed to address the world's increasingly complex challenges require the insight and understanding that the humanities and social sciences bring. They are necessary not only to generate the knowledge that leads to solutions, but also to help in the all-important work of reestablishing what is truth and garnering trust in it so that dissemination of research findings is possible and productive. From mind to hand also requires heart, and in particular, a willingness to ask the human questions. She will ask, what communities are affected and what do they need? She will ask, where have we not invested and why? She will ask, what unintended consequences are we not seeing? She will ask, what or who is at risk if we do not act? She will ask these questions and care deeply about the answers, never forgetting that leadership is a privilege. So when she led the Provost Forum at Duke on policing and another on free speech, when she led the Duke Science and Technology Initiative, when she navigated all of the complexities of Duke Kunshan University in China, when she led the university through COVID and the racial reckoning of 2020, in all of these and more, we witnessed mind, hand, and heart on full display. A brilliant scientist, scholar, and teacher, an inspiring transdisciplinary vision coupled with bold action, and a heart for people and the human condition. This is your president, MIT. Finally, in Sally, you have a person of courage. In this era of leadership as performance, she understands that principles without courage are simply platitudes. It has been written that courage is the value that is required to live all of your other values consistently. Her courage begins with her genuine humility and willingness to listen and learn, and it continues with her genuine humility and willingness to make tough decisions and to create clear pathways for the success of others. This is who she is every day. And it is how she built trust and inspired us to believe and join in her vision. And so I celebrate MIT's profound wisdom in choosing Sally Kornbluth as its next president. And Sally, I thank you for the lessons that I learned from you in leadership that I think of often and I carry with me in my work today at UMBC. Mind, hand, and heart. I'll say it again. Mind, hand, and heart. You nailed it. Congratulations, MIT. Congratulations to higher education. And congratulations to you, Sally.
Thank you, Dr. Shears Ashby. That was affirming and uplifting. Mind at manus at core, I guess. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce a special performance and tribute from Ricky Richardson, MIT class of 2012 and friends. They will honor President Kornbluth with the premier performance of his original composition, Chase Fire.
Good afternoon, everybody. This song is about the power of ambition and the responsibility that comes with it. So my hope is that as we cultivate ambition within ourselves, within one another, that we do so in humility and in love. The song goes like this. What do you do when the frost inches toward you? Nipping at your heels, freezing you in place. Fan the embers deep inside. Ooh, just fire. How do you grow when the shadows loom and linger, covering the earth, stealing from the light? Let the land be purified. Ooh, just fire. Will you be Cries of the unheard, desperate for relief, echo in your mind. Trust love to be your guide. Ooh, just fine. So when the night comes pressing in and the land needs purifying, and when you can't shake winter's chill, and the love is hard to find, fan the embers deep within, yeah. Ooh, chase fire.
Thank you, Ricky Richardson and your friends. So at this time, it is my pleasure to invite our Presidents Emeriti, Susan Hockfield and Raphael Reif, and President Kornbluth to join for the investiture ceremony, after which President Kornbluth will deliver her inaugural address.
May the great global family of MIT have the vision and ingenuity to seize fresh opportunities and the courage and compassion to help humanity solve the hardest problems. May we thrive as a community of people who value both rigorous work and exuberant play, who share a passion for exploration, discovery, and innovation, and a deep respect for one another.
May we venture after knowledge for its own sake and seek to harness that knowledge with wisdom in the great MIT tradition of mind and hand. May we never forget that each of us has something to teach and much to learn. And may we work together in service to the nation and the world with humility, integrity, and curiosity unbounded.
Sally Kornbluth, by the authority of the corporation and witnessed by this distinguished assembly, I present into your keeping the Charter of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and invest you with the authority, privileges, and responsibility of the office of president. May you serve the Institute and dignify its office of the president with all the skill, wisdom, and dedication which our confidence accords to you, and may you be steadfast and vigorous in serving the greatest good of MIT.
Chair Green. I accept this charter as the symbol of the office of the President of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and do so with the full sense of the magnitude of my responsibility. I am deeply grateful for your trust that the corporation, faculty, alumni, staff, and students now place in me. And I pledge to do all in my power to help the MIT community fulfill its mission of service to the nation and to the world. Thank you, Madam Chair, President Hockfield, President Reif, for everything you've done to foster the strength, spirit, and potential of MIT. Thank you. I aspire to build on what you achieved for the Institute. President Shears Ashby, Valerie, my old friend, I'm a little overcome by the kindness of your remarks, and I can't believe you even managed to be here with your own inauguration barely in the rearview mirror. To our dear distinguished guests from across higher education, the warmest welcome and hello. And to all those who may be watching remotely, near and far, from our neighbors in Cambridge and Boston, to the great global family of MIT, including our alumni, 145,000 strong. To our entire campus community, this small city of intrepid problem solvers. And my family and friends, and all of you gathered here in Killian Court under the world's largest umbrella, which thankfully we did not need. I'm so grateful that you chose to be part of this solemn, ancient ceremony. And this afternoon, I hope to inspire you to join us in something important and new. So, I hope that I've piqued your curiosity. Now, please hold on to that sensation, that wanting to know, while I offer a few observations. I'll venture my opinion on what university leaders are good for. I'll talk about why I came to MIT and what I found. I'll sketch out how we can fulfill our potential, our opportunities, and our obligations. And I'll ask you to join me in meeting this moment together. So, to my fellow university leaders, I'm starting with a question that may feel a little bit close to home. But don't worry, I've got you. What are university leaders good for? So, I got my first inkling about 30 years ago. Before I was a vice dean or a provost or a president, I was a cancer biologist, a hands-on, pipette and centrifuge, buckets and buckets of frog eggs biologist. My lab had maybe 12 people, and we did the most fundamental curiosity-driven research you can imagine, tinkering and tinkering with biological systems to understand the deep cell biology and biochemistry that go wrong when cells turn cancerous. It was fascinating, and I loved it. There's nothing like the pleasure of being part of a team when an experiment shows you something new, something no one else has ever seen before. And on the days when you're in that flow, you never want to leave the lab. But there were also other kinds of days. On those days, I was frustrated because I needed things I could not get on my own. I needed the institution to transform the way it recruited young researchers so we could get the best graduate students. And I needed it to invest in sophisticated core facilities so I could sequence all of those proteins we'd purified. In other words, selfishly, to do the science I loved, I needed the collective to work. So I took my first job in academic administration, and over a number of years, with the help of lots and lots of people, I helped make those changes happen. For my lab, the new talent and core facilities were terrific. And it turned out they were also terrific for many other labs in the med school and across the whole campus. And that was when I began to understand what university leaders are good for. I started to see that leadership makes a difference, that I could lead the way to changes that accelerated progress way beyond the narrow band of my own research. So I took on new leadership roles. And each time, by listening to voices from across the community, I found new ways that I could help the whole. Things like improving the quality of life for all of our students, developing staff leaders at every level, building a more diverse faculty, and more. So, 30 years on, what are university leaders good for? Picture a place like MIT. In effect, every day we send out thousands of expeditions to explore the mountain range of new knowledge and innovation, curiosity unbounded. For the faculty, researchers, and students involved, it's exhilarating and exhausting, fascinating and frustrating, unpredictable and very, very hard. You rarely know for sure if you're on the right path or you're heading for yet another dead end. The people who succeed are guilty of an outrageous persistence against all of the odds. So in that high-risk, high-reward picture, what are university leaders good for? 3 things that add up to something very big. First, we can help provision the trip, the right resources, and the right talent. Second, we can clear away the bureaucratic boulders that block the trail. And finally, we can scout out the best routes for scaling the toughest peaks and build and inspire the right teams to get there. This capacity to link vision and action, that may be the greatest accelerant of all. Now, if we do these 3 things right, we create an environment in which every individual has the freedom and support to flourish and grow, and in which we all have a sense of community, connection, and shared purpose. Those human bonds that allow us to go farther and faster together than any of us could go alone. Striving for that ideal of university leadership, that is what gets me out of bed in the morning. Well, actually, technically, it's my dogs that get me out of bed in the morning, but that is what gets me to my desk. And I love this work. So last fall, when MIT's Presidential Search Committee came knocking, I was happily settled at a school I loved, in a role that still held interesting challenges. I was not in a mood to leave. But frankly, when the MIT offer came, I could not possibly say no. Not because I dreamed of living where winter is 5 months and spring is 5 days, not because of some alluring new title, but because there is simply no place like MIT. Dozens of great research universities are represented here today. Yet even in this distinguished company, MIT has a distinctive recipe for impact. This community's signature ability to foster the very best in fundamental research and harness it to confront society's hardest problems. As humanity struggles with so many interlocking global crises, it has never needed the people of MIT more than it does now. For those of us who are called to the challenge of leadership, the world always offers lots of opportunities, but very few could be more compelling than the chance in this moment to lead MIT. Since I arrived in January, I've spent nearly all of my time on a listening tour. I've met with dozens of people across the Institute in every role. And I have to say, as a longtime fan of novels that leap between past, present, and future, getting to know MIT has felt like a kind of time travel. In 4 months, I've flown over the whole course of MIT's 162-year history, including momentous achievements, times of great pride and great struggle, and many acts of delightful irreverence, including one at my office this morning. You all know if you were involved. I've been beamed into these past controversies. I've visited the good old days. I've heard MIT student tales from 50 years ago, and I've talked with seniors who graduate next month. I've seen MIT grow from a scrappy little technical school to its present scope and stature. And most important, in exploring MIT's past and present, I've gotten tantalizing glimpses of the future. My first week on the job included reviewing young faculty who were up for promotion, 3 long days back to back. And honestly, you cannot imagine a more intoxicating introduction to the human potential of MIT. One candidate after another, each somehow more impressive than the last, and each one of them a window into the future of knowledge and the future of MIT. Reviewing these incredible talents was a preview of one of the striking aspects of this community, that the fuel for what gets done here is the brilliant creativity of each and every individual. It's like a night sky, impossibly dense with stars, each one particular and beautiful. And in the darkness, when we look up, we naturally look for patterns and connections. That is the pleasure of picking out a constellation. It doesn't dim the stars within it, but it holds our attention because it creates a larger meaning. In my listening tour conversations, that image has come to me again and again, because everywhere, in every setting, I've heard an intense desire to see the people of MIT come together in meaningful ways to meet all of the great challenges of our time. And above all, and most urgently, to marshal a bold, tenacious response to the runaway crisis of climate change. I have found a community of people who, to a person, treasure the best aspects of MIT's history and culture, and take great pride in its achievements. Yet I've found a place, always decentralized and further fragmented by the pandemic, that is still finding its way back to a shared center. There is a palpable craving for reattachment and connection. If you'll allow me, what I hear in all this is a craving for new constellations. In coming to MIT, I found something magnificent in its history, culture, character, and achievements, in its people, and their clear-eyed focus on the hardest problems. In short, like many of you before me in coming here, in a wonderful new way, I have found my people, and I have truly found paradise. Yet, I have also learned from MIT's unstoppable engineers that even paradise can be optimized. So let me talk a little bit about what that might look like. So, since I'm still trying to unlock minor local mysteries, like how MIT numbers its buildings and its courses, for me to bring forth today some detailed strategic vision would be arrogant in the extreme. Instead, I want to take you on a little trip through time, to the future, a decade or so from now. So, setting the dial for the year 2033, we can see an MIT that is in important ways deeply the same, just as quirky, nerdy, unconventional, and bold. An MIT that is true to its fundamental purpose. But we also see an institute that has built up its core strengths to be ready for whatever comes next. The MIT of 2033 has unraveled daunting intellectual puzzles, from mathematics to material science, urban planning to economics, neuroscience to nuclear engineering, physics to philosophy to finance. It has cleared away internal boulders, freeing its people to make important discoveries and innovations. In 2033, our undergraduates are thriving with an ambitious new take on MIT's core curriculum, which is setting the standard for what tomorrow's leaders need to learn. And MIT has truly become a place of inclusive excellence and enthusiastic diversity, where everyone feels that they matter and that they belong. I'm also proud to tell you that the MIT of 2033 has helped humanity come to grips with the tectonic forces of artificial intelligence, containing its risks and harnessing its power for good. The music building isn't new anymore, but it's central to new flowering of the humanities and the arts at MIT, the fields that tell us why it matters that we are human beings, fields that must be equal partners in inventing a just, humane, and equitable future. By forging new synaptic links between engineering and life science, including synthetic biology, the MIT of 2033 has helped invent the future of making, the future of healing, the future of biomedicine itself. And it has made Greater Boston the hub of the next biotech revolution, too. In 2033, the Met Warehouse is a bustling hub of making and design, sparking new ways of seeing and solving old problems. The people of MIT have used the power of entrepreneurship to propel profound solutions out to the communities around the world, from preventing pandemics to cleaning up plastic waste. And the MIT of 2033 is proud that a decade earlier, it helped lead a powerful cross-sector coalition and placed big bets on big solutions to dramatically accelerate progress against climate change. I hope that you all can see yourself in that future, because it will call on all of us together to explore and commit to new ways of concentrating our strength and quickening the pace of progress. To be clear, we want every one of our 1,000 bold expeditions to succeed, and there are many deeply significant areas where we can do more together, from the bioeconomy to AI. In fields like these, the world is crying out for courageous thought leadership and practical solutions. For a mind-in-hand place like MIT, answering that call is an opportunity and, frankly, an obligation. But as so many of you have told me, one subject above all demands our shared attention. Today, at least 20% of MIT faculty work on questions related to climate change, the greatest scientific and societal challenge of this or any age. The people of MIT are pioneering crucial fields, from nuclear fusion to grid-scale batteries to climate policy. They're decarbonizing everything from steel production to supply chains to computing, from architecture to agriculture. That is fantastic. But I believe that with all that talent and imagination, we can, and honestly, we must find new ways to work together and to work with other sectors and other institutions to achieve even more, much more. We need to ask ourselves, what is MIT's contribution going to be? Would we feel satisfied if the answer was, well, MIT contributed to the knowledge base? Would we? Is that enough? What could we do that would really move the needle and break the dial? Wouldn't it make you proud to be part of the team that went all in on the most important question of our time? The people of MIT have done this before, and now, in this moment, we can do it too. So many of MIT's signature achievements have been triumphs of concerted collaboration. The LIGO program, whose thousands of contributors from dozens of institutions together found a way to detect gravitational waves from outer space. The Human Genome Project, where MIT scientists contributed a third of all of the sequencing. The Apollo guidance systems that put humans on the moon. The work of MIT's legendary Rad Lab, whose 3,500 members developed the radar systems that helped to end World War II. At the time, MIT's 9th president, Carl Taylor Compton, called the Rad Lab the greatest cooperative research establishment in the history of the world. And the scientific miracles it achieved at record speed were mostly done by very young researchers across a wide range of fields with an extraordinary sense of purpose. To meet the challenges of climate, it is time for the people of MIT to engage in Rad Lab level thinking and commitment again. I want you and I need you to help me imagine what that should look like and how it can succeed. The kind of grand creative enterprise in which the energy you release together is greater than you each put in. A nuclear fusion of problem solving and possibility. I certainly would not presume to lay out all of the new details of this new climate endeavor. That is work we will do together, starting now. We need energy and expertise from every MIT school and the college, from every lab and every center, from every member of the faculty, and from every one of you. To our students and postdocs, you are among our most brilliant stars. Help us focus unflinchingly on the horizon of your future and the urgent need for action now. To our faculty and researchers, let's do everything we can as fast as we can. Let's have the courage to venture the impossible for our students, for our children and their children, for the world. To MIT's incredible staff, you are critical to this institute's success, its unsung heroes. As we take on this great shared challenge, we will need every ounce of your expertise, institutional knowledge, and principled leadership. And to our alumni and friends and our steadfast partners on the corporation, you know without my saying it that we cannot do this work as well or at all without your support, encouragement, and inspiration. To our neighbors in Cambridge and Boston, and to leaders across the Commonwealth, let's find ways to support each other in this work so we can move as fast as the moment demands. And to my fellow university leaders, this problem will require that we all enlist our galaxies of stars. Let's do this together and remind the world that so many of the thorniest problems are solved at universities. But let me be clear, we are not going to wait around for a perfect vision. We need to start trying new things, because I am absolutely certain that this urgent project is the singular effort that needs our shared attention. We can only meet this crisis if we're brave enough to lower our shields, reach out and work together in new ways. And we cannot be satisfied with the normal academic tempo. There simply is not time. You'll hear more from me soon about how this effort will take shape. I hope many of you will want to participate directly. Please think about how you can answer the call. How will your work make the whole of our efforts on climate greater than the sum of the parts? A multiplication of our talent and our capacity. And whatever your role at MIT, I want you to feel part of this. Every member of this community is an essential part of the ecosystem that makes breakthroughs possible. I want us all to take pride in how this community comes together to meet the existential challenges of humankind. I know I will take great pride in joining you. So I started this speech with a little bit of intrigue. I asked you to hold on to that sensation of wanting to know. Why? Because it only takes a few hours on this campus to learn that what propels MIT is an irresistible force, the sheer motive power of curiosity. On every subject, at every scale, across disciplines, and without limits. Curiosity unbounded. It is the passion to understand how things work and why, and how they can work better. In this perilous moment, I believe that curiosity can give us the hope and the courage to do what needs to be done. Importantly, curiosity is also the one and only path to understanding one another, to empathy and appreciation and mutual respect. In effect, curiosity is the indispensable first step in both collaboration and community. Today, the problems before us, the problems of human society and its only planet so far, require that we harness our curiosity in exceptionally productive ways. The people of MIT have always wanted to know how things work and how we can be part of big solutions. Now, it is imperative that we know and that we help lead the world to action. In some fleeting way, the world may attend to what I say here today, but I know the world will be watching what we do next. Let's give them something to talk about, something to cheer for, something to join, something worthy of MIT. Thank you.
I'll just say, Sally, we're so glad you found your people. Yeah. Thank you for that rousing and promising inauguration, 18th presidential inauguration speech. And now we will move towards the closing of this ceremony. On behalf of the MIT community, I thank our speakers, I thank our performers, and thank you, all of you for joining for the inauguration of MIT's 18th president, President Sally Kornbluth. So now for a little joy, please, more joy, additional joy. Please rise now and join the chorallaries of MIT as we raise our voices to sing the school song in praise of MIT. That will be followed by Take Me Back to Tech, which will complete the inauguration ceremony. And afterwards, please all join our community reception here in the back of Killian Court's tent. Thank you very much.
said hi, we're back again at Tech on Boylston Street. Dressed in my dinky uniform, so dapper and so neat. I'm crazy after calculus, I never had enough. 'Twas hard to be dragged away so young, 'twas horribly awfully tough. Hoorah for technology, ology, oh, glorious old technology, ology, oh. Back in the days I were free from carrying the ology recipe shop, with nothing to do but analyze their new anometrical top. The differentiation of the trigonometric powers, the constant lie that made me sigh in those happy days of ours. Hoorah for technology, ology, oh, glorious old technology, ology, oh. Take me back, take me back, take me back, take me back. I take the inspiration of the technological. Take me back, 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 take me back to tech. La 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 la. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. O M-A-S-S-A-C-H-U-S-E-T-T-S I-N-S-T-I-T-U-T-E-O-F-T-E C-H-N-O-L-O-G and Y comes after G. It's the Massachusetts Institute of Technology.